There we go. Hangouts is on air live. Hangouts on air is going away August 1st. For quick streaming, try youtube.com/webcam.
Are you going to be able to have multiple people on it?
No, all that does, I went there. All it does is take you to your live video feed thing. You know, your
I
live.
think I did that on my other channel, and it sucked.
Yeah, it prompts you. You can use OBS through that. It'll say if you have secondary streaming software, start it now and all that. But yeah, I don't know. What are you doing? They've gotten the Lou Rock guys. They got to them. It's a conspiracy. They've planted what do they call them, nanobots.
Yes.
Look at this, lizard people. I'm smoking. You need to take her out of here. Besides, I don't want naked babies on my panel.
Naked babies.
All right, let's see who else out in the chat. Guys, share this out. I know we got, looks like 8 people in here watching. Get some people in here before we start into the conspiracy theories. And we got a bunch of them tonight. We got a few interesting ones. We got the raid on Area 51. What is that all about, and why? And and now it's growing. It's up to, I think the last time I seen there was over 900,000 people committing to making this raid on Area 51. We're literally going to be hitting over 1 million people in probably like the next 24 hours.
You know, it was one YouTube channel that really made it blow up.
Well, now I'm seeing let's raid the Federal Reserve in Washington. They're planning a raid on the Federal Reserve in Washington the very next day, September 21st at 6 a.m. How
you know what
is this? I mean,
you know what? If you know all the stuff we talk about, like the body bags and martial law across the United States, this is an excuse for them to kick that shit right into.
Yeah, but it's not the government doing it. Some kid sitting on Facebook going, "Look at what I'm gonna do."
Yeah,
check this out.
Some kid. It took a freaking. You know what? It was either completely by accident, or it was somebody who was really smart and was like, "Watch, I'm gonna start some shit."
Or it could be a homegrown terrorist, ISIS recruit in training that says, "Oh, I could get 1 million people to go kill themselves. Watch this," and puts it up on Facebook. It tricks 1 million people to go out there and raid Area 51.
Yeah, not smart.
And meanwhile, this kid is, an ISIS recruit sitting in his mother's basement behind a keyboard going, "I'm a genius."
Yeah, not smart at all. I'll tell you what, them bases are well guarded. They're going to be hitting them with pepper balls and bean bags and sonic. There's a sonic weapon now for riot. People that riot, if they just point it at you and it makes you throw up and dizzy.
We're talking about a secret test facility. Well, it's not a secret anymore. It was undisclosed back in the 90s. Everybody knows that it does exist now. Before then it was like Area 51 does not exist. That's the official word. In the 90s, they declassified it. So if there was any aliens there when they declassified it, they would have shipped them off someplace else.
Yeah,
there ain't going to be anything.
That's the biggest thing is once everybody knew about it and it's into the mainstream, you think even if they had top secret, I got a string here. Even if they had top secret, I
thought that was your armpit hair, dude. I was like, there's the conspiracy.
Dude, this shirt right here is literally 21 years old. I got this shirt when I was 16 years old in Disney World. So my shirt is 20 something years old. I can't believe, you know what? This jersey is held up really nice. I like it. Right. I like it. It says Donald's Foul Shots. I love this jersey.
I've got one of the first Shady Wear shirts, the red one.
Like Slim Shady?
Yeah, the original Shady Wear shirt.
If I were you, Ghost, I would not tell too many people about that.
It's supposedly worth money now, man. the first line of shirts that he came out with was that. I was like,
I would keep it to myself and then go and sell it as fast as possible.
I'm gonna hold on to it. You never know. Okay, let's see who else out in the chat. I see Ray the Fam, Karen Platt, Colleen's channel, LBD Camel Man. What's up, Justin? Uber Goober's out there. Ghost Hugs.
Uber Goober lady.
Uber Goober lady. Oh my dear Lord, her and Cab 7 had me rolling. I thought I was going to wet my pants earlier. Oh my God. That would've been fun. Guys, if you haven't checked out Uber Goober Lady, there's the conspiracy. If you don't have Uber Goober Lady, you got to get over to our channel, hit that bar, ding that bell, drop a like, and watch her and Cab 7 doing the sisters videos. Oh my Lord. That was hilarious. Ooh. Yeah, we got a pretty nasty lightning storm coming through right now. So if we go off the air, we will try to come right back. But if we go off the air, it's because they're using the HARP antenna to try to take us out tonight. That's what it is.
You know what? If we go off the air, it's because aliens came down and zapped Ghost Mafia's internet. At least it's not like Alyssa Parrish's internet where you gotta
you gotta air it up. Yeah.
In Australia, guys, they run internet off of pneumatic pressure. Yes.
No, not seriously.
No, really, they do.
Lady Swan says, seriously?
They fill it up with air.
Oh, wow.
Full of hot air, just like me.
We got 30 people in here watching. Guys, share this out. Also, guys, today is the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon mission. The actual mission itself, where they think that it may have been faked. It may have been staged on a Hollywood set in some Hollywood backlot somewhere. So go talk
I think
about that.
chances are more than not that it was faked. You look at the interview that those astronauts did after they supposedly got back. They did not look like men that just, did something amazing.
I actually watched several videos over the last few days about this.
They look disappointed.
Well, not only that, but like Stanley Kubrick. This is the person that did the movie 20,001: A Space Odyssey, and got it right. Like, got all the angles right, the lighting right. And he had actually worked with the government before to do like mock-ups of things. And did you know that the NASA had 6 special lenses that were made by Carl Zeiss? They're the only 6 lenses in the world. Carl Zeiss had 1. NASA had all the rest. They gave 3 of them to Stanley Kubrick.
Yep.
True story.
I didn't know that, but I know that Stanley Kubrick did things like put little Easter eggs in his movies, like in what's that one about the hotel? That's The Shining?
Is that Stanley Kubrick?
Yeah, well, that's Stanley Kubrick. Oh yeah. Now in the Shining, the little boy has a sweater on. Yeah, well, he's wearing a sweater that says Apollo 11, and it's got a picture of a rocket on it. And actually, they say that movie, a lot of the weird, crazy stuff in that movie correlate to the faking of the moon landing. Stanley Kubrick didn't do this supposedly voluntarily. Supposedly, he turned them down at first, and then they pretty much gave him a no choice to do it. He ended up doing it, and then I've watched tons of stuff about how he was actually mad that he was forced into it, and I'm
tell you what, you know what? If there's anyone out there that hasn't been on the show before, or would like to come up here and talk about some of these conspiracies with us, or even share one that you know of, let us know in the chat. We'd be happy to bring somebody up. What do you think?
Come on down. Welcome to The Conspiracy is Right with Ghost Mafia and Lou Rock.
I have to say that I may believe this because America wanted to beat the Russians, so they would fake it, probably.
Yes.
Hmm.
I do think that it was faked. There was just too many things that were just almost impossible at that time.
Yeah, Uber has a conspiracy that she wants to share. I'm going to send her a link.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to send her a link. Hold on. Let me send her a link real quick. Copy. Okay. And then I'm going to go. I'm sending it to you in our YouTube chat, Uber. So you have a link to come up on the panel and talk conspiracies with us if you'd like.
Yeah, actually, there's so many things about that movie, The Shining, that are supposedly tied into the moon landing. Numbers on doors. There's some twins in that movie that the twin girls actually represent. I forget what it was, but I'm sure you could look up.
There she is. There she is. Tell us about this conspiracy that you have in the chat there, Uber.
Oh, well, hang on just a second. I got to pull up the chat.
Oh, okay.
Hi, you, my little darling.
Yeah, I need to get.
Hey, you. How you doing?
I'm good, babe. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, sweetheart.
Uber.
Lady Swan.
Just in time prepping's in there. Jenny Martz is in there. Donna Rock is in there. She says, I seen that and thought of everyone. I found dog ham, Lady Swan. Oh, she found dog ham.
Okay, so here's my theory. Okay, so here's my conspiracy theory as far as Ghost Mafia. I think Ghost lays in bed and whistles while he's in bed, waiting for this servant to come and like feed him these grapes, while he farts in the bed and waves the sheets, thinking he's done. He's looking for natural gas.
Well, we do have a lot of fracking in this area, but we'll cover that on another episode.
No, I'd like to talk about cancer cure.
What is it?
A cancer cure.
A cancer cure.
Yes. Now, I'm going to tell you, years ago, and I'm talking like when I was young, I worked as a CNA in a nursing home. Okay. And a friend of mine, mother passed away there. Anyway, the nurse was telling me that they had found a cure for cancer years ago. But you really think about it. Think about it. You know, you've got the government with all their pharmacy jacked up on medications.
Well, yeah.
It's a money thing. And I truly believe that our government is in it also with pesticides on our foods. They are causing the cancer. And then the cancer turns around and needs the medications. So the pharmaceutical company is making the medications. It's a complete circle all the time. And that's my theory.
Now, I want to say something about this. All right, you're in my opinion, you're spot on. Actually, I know this statistic. In 1903, the occurrences of cancer in Americans were 1 in 30.
Yeah.
Today, the occurrences of cancer in Americans are 1 in 3.
Yes.
And they say that within 10 years, every single person will experience cancer at one point of their life.
Bingo. I've heard the same thing.
Now, I know a lady. This lady's very smart, very educated, and she takes care of elderly people. And she actually took care of my aunt. My aunt was on her deathbed, and she took my aunt in, and with her, my aunt ended up living like another 30 years, and they told her that she wouldn't last another month.
Right.
Now, this lady has suffered from 5 different kinds of cancer. She's had 8 feet of her intestine cut out. She's had brain tumors. She's had just so many different kinds of cancer herself. And she will say that this lady is very well off. She has a good amount of money. And what she found is that with proper diet, that she was able to cure herself from many of these cancers. And it was simple as a change in diet. Just like you said, the foods that we're eating, they're dog ham. It's poison.
Exactly.
Yep, it's poison. Um, Even when you buy organic, sometimes that organic isn't organic. That's a false advertisement. Um, One of her, I'm going to give this to everybody. One of her biggest, because I have a friend who's dying of colon cancer, and he will not give up candy bars. And I told him, I said, listen, man, would you rather be around for your kids for another, you know, 50 years, 40 years, something like that? This kid's 33 years old with colon cancer.
Wow.
And I'm asking him, I'm like, would you rather be around, or do you want to eat candy bars? And he said he'd rather eat candy bars, but that's his choice. Fine. He is doing better finally, but
Sorry, Lou.
thing is,
Sugar leads cancer, and sugar is in everything we eat.
yes, sugar is actually she that's what she said, is sugar is one of our main enemies when it comes to cancer. Sugar is the beast. If
Yes.
you can cut sugar out of your diet, and then one of her remedies, and I know she got this from somewhere else, but one of her bits of advice is to eat things that grow underneath the ground.
Hi, Grandma Uber.
Potatoes, carrots, radish, anything that never comes above the ground while it's grown. And if you change your diet to the right diet, you can cure yourself of many different kinds of cancer.
And there's some science to that, though. I mean, if it's under the ground, it's not. I mean, just like you going outside and not putting sunscreen on, if you're out there for any amount of time, what happens?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
You're getting bombarded from the sun's radiation. You're getting burnt, sunburn.
Yep.
That is literally radiation poisoning you can get from the sun, from being out there in the sun too long, and getting too burnt. You can get skin cancer from it.
Yep.
So it does kind of make sense that the plants that grow above the ground that are getting this natural radiation from the sun and overexposure could actually be hazardous.
Well, it all comes down to that old adage, you are what you eat.
But now there are some above ground plants that grow so rapidly that, if you pluck a tomato early, you want to set it in the sun so that it will ripen off the vine.
Yep.
Okay. So there's certain plants that uses that, and then there's certain plants that, it doesn't matter. If you pluck it early, it's ready to eat.
This person I'm talking about, her name is Diane, and I love her with all my heart. She's an awesome person. She was, oh my gosh, she would come up with these drinks, and they got radish in it, and it smells, and you know what? I don't know if I could commit to that kind of diet, but the results that I've seen from it are just amazing results.
Well, the thing is, and I'll get right back to it, I believe there's a cure, and I believe our government is hiding it all. Hi, Margie. I believe our government, because it's a full money scam. It's a full money deal.
It absolutely is, because, the government's going to get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies. Okay. The pharmaceutical companies are going to make money off of the treatment of cancer. A lot more money off of the treatments than a cure. They're going to get paid one time off a cure. Off the treatments, they could go on for several years. And
that's one of the biggest reasons that they didn't want marijuana to become a medicine, because it's not a medicine that they can put their stamp on and go and sell to everybody.
Well, here's the thing with the medicinal marijuana. Now they've realized that, okay, medicinal marijuana isn't exactly a cure, but it can prolong the life a little bit longer. So if legalizing marijuana can prolong life a little bit longer, then
You know what, though?
the treatments go on longer and they make more money.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that because I've seen kids that have seizures. Okay, these kids are having seizures all day. They can't fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, epilepsy isn't the same as cancer, though.
No. But I've even seen it with cancer on a little gal.
Lou, I don't know what you did, but you lost your audio, brother.
What I'm saying is, as a cure, these people suffering from these seizures that they can't even stop all day long of their whole life. It's a torture, and a few drops of medicine stop these freaking seizures. To me, that's a cure.
Yep. It's oil that comes out of Colorado.
Yep. You're talking about the Simpson oil there?
Yes.
RSO, yeah, Rick Simpson oil. I know there's actually a few other ones, but the biggest thing is marijuana is the most beneficial medicine for the most illnesses with the least amount of negative side effects. I mean, you can take a pill for your cholesterol and it gives you a heart attack. Or look what just happened with Anarchy with the cholesterol medication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's true. So many bad side effects to these drugs. I mean, you're taking a medicine for when they read down the list of some of these adverse side effects for some of these, you're taking a pill for depression and you're getting anal bleeding and rectal itch and all this craziness. I don't know. I just think some of the
Okay, Lou, I see somebody in the chat that we've been trying to get up here to talk with us about some of this stuff for a while. I'm going to send her an invite. It's Dreamwalking Angel, and we'll see if she joins us.
Yeah, it's crazy. I take 12 different medications. It costs me over $500 a month. That's with my insurance.
Yep.
And I feel just as bad as not taking it. I want to get off of it.
If not worse.
Yeah,
in exactly. Some cases.
And yep. I do edibles. I can't smoke, but I do my edibles.
Yep.
And I'm doing a little bit more edibles here lately just so I can get off of some of these meds. Yep. It's terrible.
My grandfather comes from the old school. He never touched pot in his whole entire life. And he used to always tell me, "Oh, don't touch that stuff. It's for losers." And he's just very old school. And recently, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And he's never smoked a cigarette a day in his life. What he believes he got it from was from actually being a mechanic, working on different parts of the cars, had toxic chemicals in them. But he's actually done the same thing. He's getting into the drops, and he's doing very well. We thought we were going to lose him last year. He's still here, and he's looking a lot better every day, which is a blessing.
Welcome, Alicia.
Hi, thank you for the invite. Hi, Miss Uber Goober lady.
How you doing, baby?
I'm doing great. It's great to be up here with you, and hi to Lou Rock.
Hi, Nalisha.
We've been supposed to have Nalisha on for like the last 3 episodes, and every time I send her an invite, she's like, "I don't know if I'm ready. I'll come on next time." So we had to get her up here for this one.
You guys are so much more well versed on these things than I am. And I learn every time you do one of these. I learn from you, and I'm in the background cheering you on, going, "Yes, I know that. I know that's right. I know that's right." And I just want to tell you these things are encouraging people.
June,
they really are.
Out there in the chat. Oh, June. Thank you for coming, June.
June, y'all. Oh.
I'm glad to see June in here. I haven't seen June like getting around too much here lately, and I'm glad to see that she's getting back to her old self and getting around to channels again. And I
She
got to get over to her channel more often. I've been so busy doing things like this and
I watched her
things.
today with her cat.
What's that?
I watched her today with her cat.
Oh, did you?
oh
I was unable to catch that. I had to go change my pants after watching two nuns like banter.
I think we all did, and if we
Oh,
didn't, we should have.
we had so much fun. Cab 7 and I did. Oh my gosh. I laughed so hard.
Oh my gosh, this is so. I'm coming into the chat late. Do you mind to do a briefing and catch me up, or
You
should
weren't late. You actually weren't late. We just started.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
just started. We've just been hitting the tip of the iceberg for tonight. We go from 10 to 12, so we go for
Okay.
2 hours. And guys, we got 49 people in here. Share this out, and we definitely have to try to interact more with the chat and read the chat more, because they do throw up some interesting questions every once in a while, and really throws me off sometimes. So
Now,
we gotta keep an eye on the chat as well.
Nalisha, if you didn't hear Uber Goober lady say, she bring up the fact that, possibly there's a cure for cancer and it's being withheld because it's more profitable to our government to keep us sick. And another thing is, it's actually a form of population control. We don't want our people to live, because if not, we're just going to be, it's going to be super crowded. And
I agree with that opinion, and I've held that same opinion for many, many years. And some strains of cancer, which cancer itself is more prevalent now than it ever was, I think has been introduced into some of our food and some of our preservatives and extra ingredients that we do not need as a way of population control. And they do know how to fix cancer, but because the big pharma is such a money maker, it's almost a government by itself. They're not going to release that cure and fix someone one time when they can continue to get payments, um, for the duration of that person's,
I
the rest of that
agree with
person's
that
life.
assessment. Like, honestly, if we lived, let's say the average lifespan is about 72 years. Okay, but if the average lifespan were expanded to say 150 years, that's going to drive up housing prices. It's going to drive up food prices. Uh, the price of a vehicle. It's gonna drive prices up because there's going to be less places available to the next generation. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a boom in industry. There's going to be a boom in housing and things like that. But the expenses of it all are going to keep going up.
Correct.
I have something for you guys. There was this is actually very very sad situation. There was actually a person shortly before 9/11 that was cured of AIDS. He was fully cured. This treatment sent this person into an almost deadly fever that lasted for about 2 weeks. But when this person came out of the fever, they were completely cured. This is one person
Wow.
that was cured from AIDS. It's public record. This actually
Right.
happened. The sad part about it is this the company that was doing this research, they were actually like pretty much shut down because 9/11 happened and everything got screwy. Everything is about funding. They got zero funding. but we've been able to recover from 9/11. It's been a while since 9/11 happened.
That's true.
What the sad thing is that, that more people don't know of this person who was cured, and that actual medical group is looking for funding to continue their work, but you don't hear about it. You don't hear about it on the news. You don't get people pushing to help this company cure people from a deadly disease. It's almost forgotten about.
Oh,
And
I have some strong input on this topic as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate about this particular topic.
1 second, Dream. Just in time prepping says some of the prescribed drugs that we pay hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars for in the United States are over the counter in other countries, and that's because the government has to approve the the side effects, whether or not the side effects are comparable to the drug. You know what I mean? The what is the FDA? Yeah, FDA.
I'm just ashamed that I didn't know we were going to talk about this, or I would have got the name of the company. They actually did a story on Dateline NBC.
It's Gilead. I feel pretty sure it's Gilead.
Okay.
I'm not 100%, but I feel pretty sure it's Gilead because
can
they
look up-
provide a lot of the heart medication, which is highly active retrovir. I'm trying to remember the retroviral treatment,
Yep.
which is HIV/AIDS medication. And HIV and AIDS are not the same thing. HIV is the virus you get before it does turn into AIDS, and people use either one to mean the same thing when they're actually not. When you get a white count that drops below 200, you officially considered an AIDS patient. And even if your white count improves after that, forever they call you an AIDS patient after that. Now, in the early 90s, when people were dropping like flies, hundreds at a time, and it wasn't just the gay community, but that was the only community that the media was sharing about. It was affecting a lot of heterosexual white women at the time as well, because their partners were having sex with other people and sharing it out. And that was something that was really kept undercover. Not everybody that had it, for example, were IV users, but that was how it was projected into the media exclusively. And so this medication used to be something that had to be obtained through a lottery. They could only make so much of it at a time, and you had to enter a lottery just to win it. They could only produce it, they said, but which didn't make any sense back then because you have factories that produces pills all the time, right?
Right.
So that didn't make any sense. But to sum that up, that I've been highly active in back in the early 90s and the early 2000s in AIDS education, AIDS prevention, and doing AIDS testing for people. And I've participated in many AIDS walks, and I've also spoken at Washington, D.C. to some of the senators at the state and spent a week in training. So I have a lot of information on the myths of information that is out there even after 40 years about it. After
Whoops.
I think we're losing her.
many years is also
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
believe it created. But there's good news, and I'm going to end on this.
Yeah, your internet is cutting you out.
That it just
Hear you.
came out last week. Me?
Yeah, your internet's cutting out, but we could hear
Uber?
you now, I think.
Yeah, I think we're good now. Try it again. I think she's on a delay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I've been very active in supporting all people that have been affected by this, including families. And I used to be an in-home health worker and go to these people that nobody wanted as a patient because they thought it was airborne and you could get it by hugging them, touching them, eating off the same glasses, which is a whole bunch of bullshit. But there was so much misinformation that was put out there by the media. Everybody was scared to death and they just rejected their family totally and left them to die alone. But the good news that was released last week was they did cure HIV virus in a mouse, and it was on Fox News and it's on CNN. And this is 100% correct that they've already released that there is a cure, but they're not going to probably do it because there's so much money in this particular sickness that I believe was created in a lab in the first place for population control of certain population.
Yep.
That each virus has changed your DNA to RNA, very much like a Star Trek movie.
There's actually also a medication that's just recently been released that claims to turn the virus to undetectable.
Oh, it all turns the virus into undetectable now. 40 years later, if you stay active and faithful on your regimen that the doctor gives you, it takes it undetectable, which is under 40 copies per millimeter of blood. Now, under the microscope, they can't even detect it if you take the medicine every single night. And now they've got it down to one pill, and I can't hear Lou now.
I'm not speaking.
Oh,
I saw your mouth moving, so I'm probably on a delay. I'm sorry. But yes, that's what the medication does. It makes you undetectable when you take it.
My uncle David actually had full-blown AIDS, and he got it in the 80s. And
That's bad. In the 80s, it was a different virus than it is now, but they won't tell you that.
yes,
It's mutated.
you're actually right. It's mutated. It's changed. There's more aggressive strains. There's less aggressive strains. Actually, there is a certain amount of people that have a natural, I wouldn't say immunity, but of their bodies are more able to
Resist it, maybe?
resist. Yes. But my uncle David, great person, amazing person, one of the first people that I know who faced his disease and made it public. And he would warn people on a daily basis. He'd say,
That was so brave of him
it was
because there were people.
it was very brave of him. And he was into, he used to come roofing with us. He was into construction. We didn't make him work too hard, but he would sweep up the grounds and stuff like that. And he wanted to do this. It kept him healthy, but
Yes,
they used him as a lab rat. I remember a medicine called interferon.
it's
And
still out there and it will kill you.
oh,
More
that
people
interferon.
More people die of antiferon than they do of the virus going to where it shuts your complete immune system down without the medication.
Yes,
But antiferon is a horrible, horrible drug. And Lou,
that
the
put him
drugs
through
that they
hell.
make now have 3 drugs in one pill. So they tell the patients now, you only have to take one pill at night and you go to sleep, but it has that drug in there. They've got 3 medications into one pill. So most people take 1 or 2 pills and go about their life. They're completely undetectable for years. I've known people that lived 30 years with this now.
He lived over 30 years. He just died actually. He died 3 years ago.
See,
Did
that
you
back
hear about
in the
this?
late 80s and 90s, people were dropping dead within 3 and 6 months when I began working
Yep.
in the healthcare field. And there was people at church heard that I was working hospice,
Yep.
and with them, they didn't want me to help even make the meals for the church dinner
Yep.
because they didn't know if I had it or not until you go be tested. You can't even come to our church. You might have it too because I was
Crazy.
working with them. Are you serious?
That's
That
insane.
stigma is still out there.
Have
You
you
can find it's terrible. It's 40 years later,
have
and a
you heard
virus
of
is just like a cold. Cold is a virus.
have you heard yeah, but it's a way different situation.
Oh,
I think you're
absolutely.
completely
I
on
don't.
point.
I'm.
I think you're on point when you said it was made in a laboratory. It's
I'm positive it
yeah,
was.
it doesn't we can't fight it. It was so hard to even come up with these drugs that we have nowadays. But have you heard of this vaccine that they're just starting to I actually was getting advertisements for it on my YouTube. They're advertising an HIV vaccine now, and I'm actually seeing this on YouTube.
Yes, they
Wow.
do have one to prevent it now.
That's crazy.
What do you think about the people advocating that your young boys and girls should get this vaccine to prevent them from getting cervical cancer if they get an STD later. And they're wanting your 12 and 13-year-old young girls and young boys that may have not even been sexually active yet, I hope to God not, to get it so that when they do,
Is
and
that
if they get it,
is
if
that the
they
human
get it,
papilloma virus?
yes,
Yes.
Grace by
yes.
God Paranormal says, I was a lab rat in the late 80s and early 90s for years. It's crazy when you realize that that's what you are.
It's
Yeah.
awful.
My
And
uncle
I know
David,
she had said earlier that she's been on a regimen of like 11 pills a day and has been for the last 26 years.
Wow.
my uncle
Because some of
David,
that would be to reject the side effects from the necessary medicines.
my uncle David would go into full out hallucinations, like he was hallucinating from that interferon. That interferon really sent him for a loop, and
I don't doubt it.
he actually survived so many brain lesions and so close to death. But I really do admire him for being one of the first people to be open and with everybody. We'd show up to a new job. Now the customers don't know who's working on their roof, but he would just say, "Hey, just to let you know, I do have AIDS. Um, you you might want to stay away from me. I sweat a lot." He was so
That's
adamant
so
about his
sad because you can't get it through sweat or
or
spit. But
saliva. You can't get it
right,
through saliva
you
either.
can't get it through kissing or sweat. You just
But he was paranoid himself to the
yes,
point where he
yes.
didn't want anybody to suffer because of him. So he would just kindly ask people, can you just stay a couple feet away from me? And
Well, I mean, that all stems from the 80s when they first publicized it. I remember they had commercials telling people not to have unprotected sex because you could be having sex when you have sex with this person, you're actually having sex with all the people they had sex with, and then all the people they had sex with. Remember those commercials where they put
Yes.
the blocks up on the screen, and all of a sudden there's like 100 people from one chick that the guy
no,
slept with?
that's a lie
Totally
because
pixelated.
I would be having a lot of freaking sex
Well,
if
that's
that were true, and I ain't having none.
no,
So
that was the scare tactic.
But it was the math, right? It was
true.
actually doing the math, and that is a fact. But
I mean, there was a lot of scare tactic commercials back in the 80s, man. There was.
they they don't talk about it, but they think it's gone away. There's 1.1 million people right now in this country that's living with HIV/AIDS, and they don't talk about it. People go, oh, it's a non-issue, it's gone away. It hasn't gone away. People went underground because the way that folks react to it still, because the education's not as public. The negative miscommunication is public because of the way the media spins it. They spin it that Michael, what's his name, is totally cured. He's not cured
Magic
because there
Johnson.
is no
Magic
cure.
Johnson.
Yes, Magic Johnson. He's not cured. His viral load is now undetectable. There, you never cured, but you can get it to where it's non-detectable as long as you're on medication. And folks continue to say he's cured. No, he's not. It's just you can't detect it anymore. But if you stop taking your medicine, 1 month later, you go back to the lab, it's still there. You got to take medicine.
I actually know people who did this on their own. They got their viral load down to below detectable on their own without medication. I know a guy who's very into he's a physical trainer, and he built his own immune system up. He's a friend of mine's father, and he's like a total, like, he's another.
That's very, very brave of him. Very brave.
I'll tell you what, it's
Because
not
he's
easy for
gambling
him.
with his life, but at the same time, you're still gambling with your life when you take those medications for that are factory created for a virus that was factory created. So you see the chain of continuing.
Absolutely. That's
Well,
what it's
I
all
mean,
about.
I know the conspiracy for the pharmaceutical companies. It's all about money, and there's no real secret there. We kind of expect it. It's man's greed. But my question is, okay, this being the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11 moon landing, the actual 50th anniversary of the moon landing. Do you two think that we went to the moon?
I don't. I don't. And if I spoke about that here in Georgia around some of the people that I know, I mean, they'd have me tarred and feathered. Here, you can come out and say exactly what you think. Thanks,
Uber?
but no.
I think we did.
You think we did?
Yeah,
I think we did, but not when we said we did.
right. There
Yeah.
you go.
Very good point.
I mean, now in the last 50 years, have we been to the moon? Yeah, more than likely. Probably on more than one occasion. But
I agree
when,
with you.
when we
Ghost.
were in the space race with Russia to get there first, I don't know, the whole Stanley Kubrick thing with the Zeiss lenses and the
Yep.
gifting things back and forth between NASA and Hollywood.
If you really study into
Kind
that,
of a red flag for me.
if you really study into the Stanley Kubrick thing, he was not happy about doing it. He was not happy at all about doing it, and almost forced into doing it. And yeah, there's actually a lot of information you can get. I believe it's his daughter who's come out and said some stuff about it recently.
Well, okay, now here's the thing. Now with the moon landing, now this is the other controversy. Okay, when they did the landing on the moon, supposedly it was transmitted to three main capture facilities for the rebroadcast, and in only one actually recorded.
No.
tapes.
They lost.
NASA had three recordings of the tapes. One place in Australia had a recording of the tapes, and then somebody made a copy of the recordings of the tapes.
That's the thing. The only copies we have today of the moon landing are not the actual footage. It's
It's
a
the
copy
playback.
of a recording. It's
Yeah,
a
it's the
recording
copy
of
of
a
the playback.
recording.
Yeah, is it a
And-
copy of the copy?
It's basically you held up a camera to a TV screen and
Now,
copied it that way.
I did watch there's an episode of Brad Meltzer's Lost History, and they actually talk about the actual tapes and how they've been trying to find them. Now they actually found somebody from Australia who said, well, yeah, here's a copy of the tapes that I've had in my garage for the last 40 years. And he brought it in, and it was the guy that made a copy of the tapes just for his own thing, took it home, had it in his garage, but he copied the wrong tape. It turned out to be just the telemetry. So it wasn't the actual moon landing footage.
Let me put something into perspective for you, okay? When we take a moon rock from the moon, okay? We take this moon rock, and when we cut it, every single piece that we cut, every single shard that falls off of one of those moon rocks is tagged and logged. And then they can take these moon rocks and actually put them back together like a puzzle piece because they have them meticulously tagged to which part of the moon rock they came from. Now you're going to tell me that the most important achievement of mankind up till now, till today, we didn't take the footage of that and
Here's what I found out. This is what I found out. Okay, now that footage that NASA recorded was on the magnetic tapes, okay, just like a VHS tape, okay. It was on magnetic tapes, reel to reel. Now, it was taken and put into a warehouse with 500,000 other reels, okay, labeled, and it was not labeled. It didn't say moon landing on it. It was just like tape 106-3 ... You know, whatever, and put into this warehouse.
100% lie.
Now, here's the kicker. During the late 70s, early 80s, and even into the 90s, NASA was running out of tapes. It was actually going into this warehouse, getting old tapes, and then taping over them. That's what we think happened with NASA's footage, that it was erased and taped over.
I don't believe that for a second. That might be their story, but the protocols that are used for anything that comes from space are so first, second, third stage. You have to put on a second pair of gloves over your non-contaminated gloves, and just the amount of the amount of meticulousness that they use to tag and just log all these things. You're not going to sell me the story that we had it stored in some storage and it just got lost and we started recording over stuff. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. Well, it doesn't fit with NASA's reputation. Not even from back in the beginning of NASA. It doesn't sound like it doesn't sound true.
They may have found, and they had I didn't get to watch it. It was on Sunday, and I was on a panel at the time, so I missed the show. But the History Channel was doing the moon landing, the lost tapes. I don't know if anybody caught that or not, but I hear that they may have narrowed down to there is a mountain range somewhere that had a salt mine in it. And they have since, after the salt was all taken out of this, they've retrofitted this like salt mine as a storage facility. And the government actually uses it. It's kind of like the cloud. They put copies of everything in this. They just pack in this mountain full of information and everything. And even businesses and companies can get portions of this mine because it's so big that it can store files and everything else in this mine. I forget what it's called. If anybody in the chat knows, pop it in there. But there's a salt mine. And even in Antarctica, there's a place that they call the Ark. And this is, they ship seeds to this Ark in Antarctica to file them away in case of an extinction event, like a meteor will hit the Earth and send so much debris up in there. We go through a nuclear winter and it kills off all the plant life. We have a backup of plant DNA and seeds in this ark.
And
up
listen
on the
to
ark.
what you just explained to me. You just explained that we have mountains with every seed and all of these things stored in them. The amount of protocols that these people do to make sure that we have all this stuff, we lost the most important recording in mankind.
Well, see, at this
Bullshit.
point, it may not be lost. It may just be mixed up with a
Bullshit.
billion other.
I call bullshit.
You know what I mean?
100% bullshit. If it
I
was
don't
real,
interrupt, guys, but I gotta go. But I'll be in the chat. I just gotta take my meds and do my breathing treatments.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
okay, I love y'all. Thanks for having me out.
Okay, Uber
Well,
Goober.
thanks for coming up,
yeah,
Uber.
Uber Goober.
Love y'all.
It's good to see you, Uber. Have a good night.
Bentley, stop it.
Ghost,
Yeah.
Lou, this was a segue about the seeds too, because some seeds are not able to sell them. You can't really get hold of heirloom seeds in some specific vegetables, but you can buy seeds that will grow a vegetable that doesn't produce seeds.
Well, yeah.
That's been regulated for a while, and that people have gotten in trouble for harvesting their own seeds from their vegetables and saving them from year to year because there's some law against that.
Well, look at poppy seeds. We eat poppy seed bagels every day. I mean, a lot of people do. Are people out there
Yes.
growing poppy plants all across the United States? No.
No, and if those seeds have been baked, there's
Yeah, they're sterile then.
you can't. No, but you could always buy those seeds or plant a darn pop.
Well,
Plant poppy flowers.
And that comes back to, okay, the rice and bean. You can buy rice and bean seeds. You can eat rice and beans, but if you were to take that bean and process it into a oil, it's a very deadly poison.
Yes, it is.
And yeah, it can go airborne and all kinds of nasty stuff. It's very illegal to try to process any kind of oil or anything from a rice and bean or seed.
I'm just going to say
Highly illegal.
I'm just going to say my personal opinion. You are not going to sell me the pile of horse crap that says that we misplaced these tapes. These tapes, we have them. We have them. What it is it was faked. And the reason that we recorded off of a recording is so that you couldn't see the fake.
Well,
that's why it's a recording.
That is where the theory. That is where the conspiracy is created. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what made people question it. Why are we only seeing literally? Now, this is the way they set it up. When the feed came through to for the rebroadcast, it was on a small monitor in high definition. They literally took a low definition camera, placed it in front of the TV set, and showed what was on the screen to purposely make it low def. And that's why you get them grainy lines that you see in the background of it, kind of vertical hold issues and shit like that. Is because they put a television in front of a camera and had the camera. It would be just like if I took my webcam like this and went, okay, now that picture isn't that great now, is it? That is definitely not high definition. That is how they faked the moon landing.
Ghost Mafia is currently broadcasting from the moon.
Yes, I was just on the moon.
What the fuck was that?
That's literally exactly how.
Man. One giant step for mankind.
I mean, they took very advanced technology and dumbed it down on purpose.
Yeah, you're not going to tell me the brightest minds of the 21st century made a mistake that
they
big.
didn't. I've grown up with the belief that people who have nothing to hide nothing. And so if they're hiding the truth.
Here's the other part of the conspiracy that nobody talks about. the guy that was in charge of the rebroadcast to the whole United States, the one person that had to figure out how to rebroadcast this out through all these television stations and everything, was only 26 years old at the time.
What?
And the best he could come up with was putting a camera in front of the television. You're telling me he couldn't have went to the back, got a patch cord, patched out the feed, and right into the transmitter. Instead, he just literally took the camera, shoved it up in front of the TV, and go, that'll work. That's where the conspiracy is. They knew the kid was only 26 years old. It was the most responsibility that the kid ever had in that business at the time. And, he was responsible for the rebroadcast to the whole United States. 26 years old. They did that on purpose. That's what I'm thinking. They did that on purpose, knowing that he was going to screw it up. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put on a 26-year-old kid who's never done that type of thing before in his life. I'm just saying, whoever made the decision to put a 26-year-old kid in charge of something that important, that's
when it happened. It just wouldn't happen. It's so impossible. It doesn't. It's laughable. It is laughable.
Nobody is perfect. People do make mistakes. As far as Forrest Gump says, shit happens. Yeah, that's true. But in this day and age, if they were doing something like, if we were going to land on Mars tomorrow, do you think they would give it to a kid straight out of, maybe second year of college, third year of college,
Nope.
26 years old, never done it before? Are they going to give it to a technician who's been doing that type of stuff for years?
For one, I think they wouldn't even give the job to one person. It would be a group of people.
It would be a team. That's right.
And there would be redundancies. There would be redundancies to make sure that these mistakes don't happen. The same redundancies that they have today with stuff from space. The moon rocks are just a prime example of how meticulously they tag and process these pieces of rock that have been run through bandsaws, and they tag every shard, every small little flake that comes off of it. You're not going to tell me
archaeology is a science, and that's the science that they use to examine those rocks, I believe. I think. I may be wrong, but I'm just saying that, yes, it's a science. And they will mark and label everything, and now with photographs. And
okay, Grace by God says, of course not, Ghost Mafia, but this was in 1969, not 20th century. But in 1969, my question is, if they had literally hundreds of people working on the telemetry to put that rocket up there on the moon, why would they only put one person in charge of the broadcast?
Yeah, in 69, they had the same amount of intelligence as they have today. And I mean just basic human intelligence. And just because our technology has grown doesn't mean that people in 1969 weren't capable enough of, taking care of, these important.
And it's large government conspiracies like this that come down to just that one. That one is the answer in most of the time. Look at John Wilkes Booth, Abraham Lincoln. Now, Abraham Lincoln was only given one guard that night, and the guard actually was able to leave his post at the intermission to the play. Our American Cousin, wasn't that the name of the play? He literally left his post outside of Lincoln's door and left. He just got up and left. He was able to go home halfway through. Oh, it's halfway through. Nothing happened. I can leave. He was told that he could leave halfway through, which left nobody guarding the president. Literally, 5 minutes after that post, he left his post. John Wilkes Booth walks through the door with a 50 caliber Derringer type pistol, puts it to the back of Lincoln's head, shoots him, jumps off the stage, breaks his ankle jumping onto the stage, and thus semper tyrannis, thus always the tyrant. He yells and then takes off. Now, why was there just one guard on the president that night? Why is it that the only bridge in town that he would have got away from had guards on it, but nobody seen him cross it? I mean, there's a lot of questions in these conspiracies, and it always comes down to the one. There's always the one.
Well,
the one factor.
Actually, that comes down to many more than one.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying there was only one guard.
Yeah, but who made that decision? And that
would have been his Secretary of Defense, which at the time it wasn't called Secretary of Defense, but the guy who was
the
basically
guy.
The
you might as well call him the guy.
The guy. The guy in charge of war at the time. Secretary of Defense is what they would call him nowadays. It was called something else then. But he was actually he was a member of the Knights of the Golden Circle, come to find out.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of people who wanted Lincoln taken out of the picture. There was a lot of people. And to put it all on John Wilkes Booth is that's another laughable situation for me.
He was hired?
I believe so.
I think he was part of the Knights of the Golden Circle and part of a much bigger conspiracy, and I think they actually helped him to escape from the barn, where now literally, there was never any pictures taken of the body. And the doctor that confirmed the death, he had even stated that it did not look like John Wilkes Booth because he had freckles and red hair. And John Wilkes Booth did not have red hair or freckles, either one. So the guy that they killed in was Garrett's barn was not John Wilkes Booth. And there's evidence to substantiate that he went out west using an assumed alias and lived out his life for a good long time.
Well, look at Hitler. Hitler's death. I'm not going to say that Hitler is alive or lived forever or whatever, but I mean, his death, the initial, the Russians claiming that they had his body, it was actually a female. It wasn't even a male. The body was the body of a female.
Yeah, it wasn't even a body. It was just some remnants of bone because the guards that was supposed to, supposedly they committed suicide in the bunker. One of Hitler's guards took him outside and burned the remains. What they found was a portion of a skull and a jawbone and part of a leg bone. And when they did the DNA test, the jawbone was of a female, which was supposedly Ava Braun, but they cannot substantiate with DNA because there wasn't enough. They couldn't get enough DNA to positively identify. But there is enough evidence that Hitler escaped to Argentina and lived out his life, where he finally died from stomach issues, which he had actually had during the war.
They said that he had syphilis. It was rumored that Hitler had syphilis, and that a lot of the treatments that the doctors were giving him were for syphilis. And syphilis can actually make you go crazy.
Yeah,
that's a possibility. I mean,
yeah, they actually go into the old tapes of him and his hands shaking and certain other signs that this is possibly true. And then the stuff that he was being given for treatment of this was just, there were some outrageous kinds of drugs that they were pumping this guy full of everything and anything. So
yeah, I have it. Grace by God says, have you not seen Hunting Hitler on the History Channel? Yes, I watch it religiously, actually.
I actually know the people who made that show.
There was actually tunnels leading to the main thoroughfare, and they were using it as a runway, like the main street downtown. They had removed the telephone poles and everything, and they were landing planes there. And supposedly, he was rushed out to a plane, flown off into a plane, and the plane landed. He got into a U-boat, and that's how he got to Argentina, was on a U-boat. So,
I actually met with the producers of that show.
Really?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what was the purpose of your meetup?
It was to talk about a show for me to be doing.
Yes, good job. But I also heard that George Washington had STD as well,
George
Definitely
Washington.
possible.
because he had a wife and he also had a house servant and other lovers as well.
Now, didn't
I've
I
seen
mean-
pictures of that where he had children with his servants and things like that, and some of the photos of the children as they grew up look
now
a lot like him.
didn't Lincoln have a bed mate that he used to sleep with that was a male?
He was male, and he was a black man as well. He was his best friend. He was a childhood friend, and yeah, he was with
I'm
him
a
all
firm
through the war.
believer that Lincoln was part black. I think that Lincoln, his father, was a black man. Can I prove this? No, but it makes a lot of sense.
I
to
don't
me.
think that Lincoln was black, but having a childhood friend that was with him his whole life who was a black man
Yep.
would definitely feed into that persona as well.
I seen something about even the name Lincoln coming from his father, who was a black man. I believe, if I believe if I remember right, it was George Lincoln, but I might be wrong. This is just something from a show that I watched a while back, but definitely makes sense. He was a very big man, very tall man. His skin complexion was actually very dark, and Lincoln had some weird things going on with his body and his face, and
Yes.
so yeah.
Well, we are going into the last 45 minutes in the show, and I did want to touch on a little bit of the
Don't touch me again, Ghost Mafia.
Let's Raid Area 51. Alicia, have you heard about this?
Gosh.
I haven't. I've heard people speaking about it, but I'm not sure what it was about yet. I want to know.
Okay, so somebody decided as a joke that they were going to put up on Facebook an event for September 20th from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And it's called Let's Raid Area 51. They can't stop us all. And now they have gotten confirmation, where it comes up in the event, going, not going, interested. They've got going pressed over 900,000 times. People are committing to going to Area 51 and rushing the gates to see aliens.
Oh my word! How? So,
They're supposed
I
to
haven't
do
thought
these
this
things
through.
called like Nagaru runs, which is like it's like a cartoon, and they're supposed to like run from the bullets. This has gone way too far.
This is way beyond what common
And
sense.
now it's taking another step.
It's
and this
taking
is-
a whole life of its own.
Yeah, okay. Grace by God says it's now over 1.1 million people that have pressed going. Okay,
Melissa,
so
have you heard of QAnon?
I've heard of that sounds familiar, and I can't figure out why. The Q is striking a familiar
All right.
sound to me.
The QAnon thing is actually fairly new. Just the other day, Trump had a rally where in this rally there was hundreds of people in the audience wearing shirts with the letter Q on it, with the American flag inside of the Q. And this group of people are believers that Trump has been making up all these stories of like him being helped from Russia and all this stuff as a cover of his real investigation, which goes into the investigation of the highest levels of the government, that these people are actually, pedophiles, and that he's going to blow the lid off of this soon. And actually Trump kind of solidified it for these people in his last rally, because Trump takes a picture with a couple with the Q, and he's holding up the Q in the picture. And so it
That
shows you how
is
quickly a conspiracy can just get way out of hand really quickly.
he's
And yeah, so
Mm.
that's a simplified version of what QAnon is all about.
I have to say I firmly believe that Trump is I don't want to say it's oblivious
To
of
what it
what
is.
he did.
I think he's like, what's this Q? Oh, let's take a picture with it. Everybody's got a Q on. I agree.
Yeah,
I think he's kind of a puppet to start with.
I think he's
yeah.
totally oblivious of the Q continuum or whatever you want to call it. You know, like
Continuum. Now we're back to Star Trek.
The continuum.
Q was actually a character on Star Trek.
I mean, I could show up at a Trump rally with a big gold necklace and a Z on, and if he walked over, he'd be like, "Yeah, what's up, Z?" You know, he wouldn't know what the hell it meant.
well,
But
you don't want to do that.
Clueless. He's clueless.
Let's say
You-
Ghost Mafia, you don't want to wear a big gold necklace with a Z on it, because that would not be good. There's actually a it's a Mexican cartel that's actually called the Zetas, and yeah, you might get caught out there in the wrong place with a Z.
I'm just saying, it wouldn't matter if it was a Q, a Z, a R, a S, T, L, N, E, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I could show up with a medallion that looked like the Wheel of Fortune, and he'd be like, Wheel of Fortune. You know, that could be another conspiracy too. He wouldn't know. He'd be oblivious to it.
I have a thought, and I don't know, it may be or may not be correct, but do you not think that this person sitting with the Q was a plant and he was told to do this, and that
They did an
he's,
interview.
I'm sorry.
They did do an interview with the people that he took the picture with, and
I
these
bet
people,
they did.
they were staunch. Like they were totally into the conspiracy theory. They were explaining how much they believed in it, and how him taking the picture with them is just total, like just totally locks it in. That
Is it just confirmation?
yeah.
And so I'm thinking, though, that these things are set up to give signs and symbols. So people look, for example, like Illuminati symbols in music videos, for the people that are awake and paying attention, and also for the people that are involved in the things that they're going to implement in the future. He'll do things like that to let people know it's a cue, it's a sign, look, without actually saying so. But folks are listening through visuals because we're very visual people now. So
that couple actually said that they were just one of many that were there with their Q sign, and that a Secret Service agent came up to them and said, Q is looking for you. So Q as in like the Trump, like
right.
I'm calling him the Trump now. Yes, the Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Do I believe this stuff is true? I'm not that well versed in it to say yes or no, but it's blown up just like the Area 51 thing that blew up almost overnight.
And that's like with the Area 51 thing. Now they're talking about doing another raid on a Federal Reserve building in Washington, D.C. the very next day. Like,
But this is like going to be civil wars and stuff.
and that's what I'm afraid of. Okay. Now, you get a million people storming a military installation where they test top secret military aircraft. They're going to want to keep those aircraft top secret. Okay. There is signs there that says you will be dealt with swift, deadly force if you keep pressing it. I mean,
Dory M from the chat actually hit on something that I think she's onto something, and the fact is that I am wearing Donald's shirt tonight.
So you're sending a message, right?
Oh yes, this was totally planned.
Oh yes, like the cue. It was totally sending a message to the people that are awake.
Yeah.
And if you haven't noticed, I've got stars on my shoulders.
Good eyes.
Symbolisms. Lou, we lost your audio again, man.
No, you didn't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
It's really low, though. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's because I'm not speaking.
Well, you what?
Well, that's why it's low.
Maybe. Dory M, I am a vampire. She asked if I'm an alien. I'm not an alien. I'm a vampire.
Well, the girls love him. They think he sparkles in the daylight.
Oh, I sparkle.
He's sparkly, girls. He's sparkly. Okay.
I like this guy's comment. Libtard. That's funny. You could call me anything you want. You know who we need to get as a guest up here? Chase. We got to get Chase up here.
Oh, Chase the Patriot?
Yeah, that would be funny. That would just be so funny.
Oh, that could turn out bad though, because I could see him getting that into an actual argument with somebody and literally just. Yeah.
But that would be great. That's entertainment for you, man.
It is. And two people I know that are very, very smart is Benny Loco and June Gall.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of information.
Christina inside the Ghost Squad. You saying Cowboys are good?
Oh my God, the conspiracy continues. Who just went live right now? Just this second.
They don't want us to talk about
Chase the Patriot just went live
this
second.
See, that's a sign. It means something.
Okay, so we're down to about the last half hour now, and I know with Nalisha here, there is one more subject that I'd like to get into for the last half hour, and that is the Georgia Guidestones. And Nalisha is going to be making a trip to the Georgia Guidestones here pretty soon. Is that right?
I am. I'm going to be making it at the end of the month or the 1st of August, and I'm not really well versed enough to have an intelligent conversation, but you can kick it off if you don't mind.
Okay.
I would like to.
So a lawyer is sitting in his office one day, just minding his own business, and a guy walks in and brimmed hat and a briefcase and sits it down on the desk and says, "I have a job for you." And opens up the briefcase, and here is all the money for the project and all the blueprints for the plans for the project. And he says, "I want you to handle this. I want you to get it done. And I want no credit for it. I want my name not to be attached to it. I don't want you, I'm not even going to tell you who I am. Here's the money. Here's some for you to make sure that it gets done. And this is what I want done."
That's the way I heard it.
And so that's what happened. This guidestone has been erected basically overnight in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of the night, I heard.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. out of nowhere. And Lou, can you tell us a little bit more about what the Guidestone says? Because I know you know more about that than I do, but I know the story behind it, but not what all the claims are.
Actually, I'd have to look it up, but it's something to the effect of wanting to decrease the world's population to that of less than 500,000. Am I right, Alicia?
I want
That
to say
sounds
right.
that sounds right. When I go, I'd like to have you guys on Hangouts with me in a private hangout,
Here,
and I'm going
look
to
it
do
up,
the show.
and I'm gonna read them all to you.
Okay.
Okay. And I heard it was set up. Now I've been there before. After Stonehenge, and that there's certain areas that you can look at it and see the sun, very much like a sundial.
Oh
It's
yes,
set up specifically.
Oh yeah,
it
they
is.
were
It is.
very specific blueprints and instructions on how, where, how high, height, the names, dimensions, thickness, everything. Like literally, very, very
Okay.
thought out. Like a Mason or a Templar would have
All
built
right.
this. You know.
So this is what it says: maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. It continues to go on. Uh, um, Let nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Infinite. I'm sorry.
Infinite. You're right. It's
It
infinite.
wasn't. Are you sure?
I'm sure it's infinite.
It's infinite. All right.
That means it goes on and on forever without beginning or end.
Okay.
And toward infinity.
All right.
And
Now,
beyond.
Yes, I wish
yeah,
I'd have thought of that.
those are
Infinity and beyond.
the sayings that are on the Georgia guide
Now,
stones.
now there's how many stones is there?
I believe it's 4.
And they're
I'm not
written in
mistaken.
several different languages on like
Yes.
several different sides of the stone, like many different languages.
And some of them are even made up. And well, yeah, Stonehenge is much older than the Georgia stone guide stones, but the Georgia guide stones were, you know,
Aligned. You're saying
after
that
that.
they're aligned to the movement of the
The
sun and
sun.
stars. Yeah.
That's right.
And
And I'm wanting to find out if there's any connection to the marble quarry there that's used throughout the nation for all the tombstones and the grave sites.
Hmm.
It's shipped all over the world. It's one of the
All right.
largest marble quarries in the world and in this nation.
There's actually 7 stones total. One at the base, holding up 5 pillar-like stones with a 1 stone cap on the top.
Hmm.
So 7 stones altogether. 5 of them are standing erect like Cab 7, and then there's a cap on the top.
But I didn't mean to imply that the Georgia Guidestones came first, but they did follow the
Ley line.
idea, is all I was saying.
I was going to say there's probably some link to the ley lines as well.
Yeah.
If you were to look it up,
Oh, I'll be looking that part up.
yeah, there'll be
And
some.
actually, the man who created those stones was a banker. And there was a guy who came in and entrusted this banker with building these,
Was
weird
it a banker?
stones.
Okay, maybe it was a banker. I was thinking lawyer, but
He was
maybe
a banker / lawyer, whatever but he did work in a bank. And this gentleman came into the bank, told him what he wanted to do with his money, what he intended to build, what he wanted it to say. And he must have been paid very well or coerced to keep his mouth shut because he held his tongue actually till he died. Never came forward. And there was one reporter who was trying to grill him for who told you to do this, and they could not get an answer out of this man even till his death.
Yeah, it wasn't his idea. He was the middleman. I believe
No,
that.
he was hired by an anonymous
Investor.
funder who came in and funded a project that he wanted done anonymously, and the person who did the project, the person who was approached, kept his mouth shut till the day he died.
Well, that's always because your family is threatened, I think. I think it's always,
I'll
your
tell you what,
family could be eliminated.
you give me $5 million and you say, listen, you keep your mouth shut. I give you this $5 million. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Thank you for the 5 mil. See you later.
Exactly.
So if anybody wants to trust me with anything like that, you got 5 mil.
His PayPal is in the link, you guys.
Yes, hit me up. Send it to my PayPal. I could definitely use it, and
$5 million.
I will put that 5 mil towards doing awesome.
Look,
YouTube
I'm a
videos.
lot cheaper than that. Just put your secret into a super chat note and
Come on,
just
stop trying to steal. Stop trying to steal my ideas, Ghost Mafia. Come on. Jeez.
But now, one last conspiracy of the night, and it's one that's really close and dear to Lou Rock's heart. I know.
Oh, yeah.
It is. He has a new. I don't want to say he has a new sponsor for his channel.
Oh my gosh, I have found legitimate dog ham evidence. Legitimate. Like, I'm not talking about a joke. I am not talking about like just something silly. Today on Facebook, I found legitimate evidence of the dog ham conspiracy.
Really?
I'm gonna have to share that with people.
Yeah, share it.
Can you screen share
I
that?
can't share it right now. I have to get the link and then I'll put it up next week for everybody.
Okay.
See, this is authentic.
Look, I was at a Denny's restaurant last night with Aniki Jack Colorado Explorers, and the waiter comes over, and I says, I'll have the turkey bacon club. As I was looking at the regular club that comes with the turkey and the ham, I said, what kind of ham do you guys use? Is it boar's head? Is it dog ham? Is it what kind of ham do you guys use in your store? He says, I'm not sure. I'll have to go and ask my manager. I said, could you do that for me? So he goes back and he asks the manager, and he comes back and he proceeds to tell me that, well, our ham comes from a supplier. There's really no name on the brand, so we don't really know here at a store level.
So it could be dog ham.
It could be. It might not.
Mile High Savage 303 says, I think pink slime is more of a conspiracy than actual dog ham. A Mile High, I think there's dog ham in the pink slime.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah. I think the pink slime is dog ham.
Yeah. That's true. I think it is. That's why so many people get sick eating chicken nuggets, chicken sandwiches.
Have you heard of them actually using stem cells inside of different drinks? Like, I don't even want to say the names of these drinks because they're so big, such big companies, but I've heard that they're actually using stem cells inside of some of these foods, and that's just way out there. That's
very, very science. That's true, but that's high-tech science.
I think, guys, on a serious note, all conspiracies come back to dog ham. Kennedy being assassinated, dog ham for sure. Moon landing, the astronauts eat dog ham. I mean, this is just proven fact.
Well,
Um,
in an attempt to raise the dog ham conspiracy awareness, we actually have our first piece of merchandise. We have a dog ham shirt. You can get it on my Teespring. It's over there now. It's a limited run, so get them while you can. But we have a dog ham shirt that we have got up there. There's more to come. We've got a. For some reason, last night we was working on it. We couldn't get the pixels right, so it's kind of it's like a picture on the breast with a dog ham across the front. You'll see it over there. Go check it out. Teespring dog ham merch. It's up and running, and there's going to be new designs coming. We're going to have them over on Lou Rock's channel. We're going to have them on my channel. We're going to have them all over the place. But we are working on the dog ham merch. First merch is out as a test run to see if we can.
well, guys, if you haven't heard, they actually got to me. I've just actually got my first sponsor on YouTube, and you can actually go watch my first sponsored advertisement on my channel. It's
we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch because it's right. Yeah, we're gonna see it in just a second here.
Here we go.
Hold on.
You know what, guys? I tried to be I tried to be like, honest, and I tried to separate myself from these evil corporations, but they just offered me too much money and I had to take it. So I am sorry for selling out, but it was worth it. Let me tell you that. It was worth it.
It was. Explain how dog ham was revealed.
Our video was brought to you
I
by
gotta put it on presenting.
pigs. Really enjoy dog ham because they don't have to die. No pigs are killed in the making of dog ham. Enjoy dog ham, the chicken of the backyard. Maybe your neighbor's backyard. Who knows?
There you go.
There you go,
That
guys.
is- there you
Proof.
go. There's your commercial.
That's
It's
proof.
out there now.
That's 100% rock solid proof right there. I mean, even I sold out. I'm sorry. I have to apologize to everybody.
Don't think they can't get to you next.
They-
Question everything.
Trust me, the dog ham wallets run deep. This is true.
They do. They're part of the Illuminati, I heard.
Yes. They're a part of the Illuminati.
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 I heard they're hiring Snoop Dogg as a spokesperson.
Yes.
That's the rumor.
Yep.
That is the rumor.
They're a part of the Illuminati.
Maha Savage had a question in the chat that about he thought that Lou Rock came up with dog ham, but no, dog ham's a real thing. And if I'm not speaking out of turn, didn't the word dog ham come out of the Lou Rock box?
It actually came out of a spirit device.
It was I was using the Ovulus.
Yep.
And it came out with a word that didn't make any sense. And we were on a panel with myself and Lou and JoJo Walker and Brian's Paranormal, and we couldn't make any sense of the word. So what's the first thing you do when it comes up with a word that doesn't make any sense? You run it through a translator.
Right.
We started running it through a translator, and it come back to like Portuguese or something like that, and it translated to dog ham.
Yes. So it is an actual thing.
It is. And so many people in other lands are using dog as meat for food and in their restaurants. And it's done here in this country, but it's not spoke about. But it's done a lot. And even though it's not legal, it doesn't mean that you haven't been eating dog for years and years and years. So be aware of what you're putting in your mouth, because that came through there. And kind of the question was, when Ghost came up with the dog ham merch, he went, oh, wait, I thought Lou Rock came up with that. And I was like, well, it was kind of I'm not going to say collaboration. It happened with all of them. And I think he was thinking it was a Lou thing, not a ghost thing. So you guys can straighten that one out.
Christina and Fred Ghost Squad says, Ghost Mafia, nobody's going to wear dog ham on a white T-shirt. Where's the black? You should be able to get it in any color. If not, let me know, and I will go in there and I will fix that, because you should be able to get it in just about any color. You just specify which color you want.
It is what McDonald's uses in their burgers, Lady Swan. It's been what they've used in their burgers for a long time.
I'll tell you what, I want to eat ham, egg, and cheese on a biscuit from McDonald's. Heck no.
No. I ate a chicken sandwich not long ago, and it took me out for 10 days, and I ended up in the ER with so many digestive issues, and it wasn't food poisoning.
You know what's
Think about it.
is I look on a Chinese food menu. This was a few weeks ago, and it said shrimp balls, but underneath the shrimp balls on the menu in small writing, it said made with pork.
Yep, I've seen
That's
that.
not a shrimp ball anymore. That would be a pork ball. Why are we being sold pork and being told it's shrimp? Same concept as dog ham. Yes.
Okay.
All right, Sharpshooter says the dog ham merch, there's no colors, just only white. Yeah, there were supposed to be colors. I'm gonna have to go back in there after I end the stream, and I'll either redo it or fix it, or it'll be available tomorrow.
Thank you, Mile High. I was trying to help clear it up, but I'm glad you understand. I really, really, really do enjoy me a can of Vienna sausages, though. I love me some dang Vienna sausages, which are dots and dogs. That's specifically Dotson's.
Potted meat, chuck full of lips and peckers and puppy dogs. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever hear those little wiener dogs? That's what he said.
So we got about 15 minutes left, guys. What do you got for us, Lou? I know you got some strange stuff, some weird stuff. You got all kinds of conspiracies.
You do.
I think just the QAnon thing was just kind of weird.
Body parts for sale.
Yes, Kelly, I seen your message.
Body parts for sale.
That was the only one. Your image was the only one that didn't come out fuzzy in Teespring for some reason. So, yep. So we went with the actual design for the dog ham merch shirt. The actual dog ham canned meat product came from Kelly Skaggs, aka No One, out there in the chat. So I got to give her props. I got to make sure that credit is given where credit is due.
Very talented graphic designer right there.
She is. Yes, she is.
Very gifted person. I was giving you another topic, Blue Rock, because the reason that I said that out loud, even though that was a strange
body
way
parts,
to say
if
it.
you're looking for some, I'm your guy.
Yeah, I know you know somebody that knows somebody. But I was talking about the missing children and all of them that went missing for a long, long time, and how the underground body part network goes for kidneys and lungs and hearts and things that I've heard about, but I don't know for real what. That's why we call what's your conspiracy theory. What do you think about that?
Actually, I believe that there's even more to it than just body parts.
I think that
when it comes to children,
I think that it's evolved into. I think it's evolved into being covered up by sex trafficking and
yes,
things like that. It's not as widely heard of. People stealing kidneys and stuff. That used to be an old,
urban legend, maybe.
Legends. But
here's the deal: why would you have to steal a kidney when you could just pay Lou Rock for his?
That's true. What do you think about the spirit cooking done on that island? Lou's got a kidney for sale.
Yes. Yes.
PayPal.
PayPal. I also have 2 testes. I only need 1. So
Oh man.
Now I have seen things on Facebook where they can actually sell one of their testicles for like $50,000 as long as
man.
the testing comes back okay and everything. They can literally. It's almost like donating an organ, but
I would do
can
that
actually
just for
sell.
the entertainment value alone.
I don't think you'd be laughing so
I-
hard
I'm-
the day after surgery. It
I'm
wouldn't be
telling you
very
what,
entertaining.
I'd
if
be
you
laughing
search
my way all the way to the bank.
if you search hard enough online, there's
I
some
might sell both of them if you got
facility
enough
out
money
there that will
because I've
pay you.
already had kids. I don't need no more
Craigslist.
kids.
Craigslist.
Do you know that I've actually put my soul up for sale on Craigslist
You
for
put your what?
$10,000? My soul, my eternal living soul. I put it up for sale on Craigslist for $10,000.
But it's so used and it's already occupied.
Why do you think you're getting a good deal? You're getting it for 10 grand. I mean, if
Here's
it
what makes
was,
it taboo. And back in the 70s, you didn't hear stories of like, you can pay a surrogate mother to have a child for you. Okay.
Correct.
Now that's a regular thing that happens every day,
All the time.
all the time. I mean, literally, you can pay somebody to, carry, they can actually take your seed and your husband's seed and put it together inside this other person, and you can pay them to have your child for you.
Did you know that if you keep your testicles, you could make more money selling your sperm to the sperm banks than you could giving up the testicle one time?
yeah, but you know what? With this sperm bank stuff, there's a lot of these people that have donated sperm that are now getting sued by the kids that were born. This is actually happening.
I've seen that happening though,
Yeah,
but it's so rare and they're not supposed to be able to come back at you like that.
they're not supposed to be able to, but they are coming back. And
I've
there's like
seen
one
that.
guy who's got like 100 and something child support cases going on against him right now because that information was leaked.
Yeah.
I've seen that as well in the news,
I'd
but I
rather
don't
just give
think
you
it's
my junk.
really that common.
Like,
All of the missing children, though, that have gone missing, and I don't think that they're dead.
well, there was a story about we've talked about this before about the royal family going to an orphanage in Canada, and the children from
Right?
the children from this orphanage are now coming forward now 30 years later plus, and they're coming forward about their friends that went missing. I think it was like 18 kids that went missing that one day that the royal family showed up there, and they disappeared, never to be heard from again. And there's, not just one witness, there's actually dozens of witnesses, the orphans that were there that lost their friends.
Yeah,
And
I've heard about that. I
yeah,
do. I've heard about that. I agree. What do you know about spirit cooking?
Spirit cooking.
Hmm.
we're getting into that now. Alicia, you're getting into an area that will get you shut down almost immediately on YouTube.
Okay. We can talk about that privately. Thanks for giving me a heads up.
Yeah, there's some conspiracies out there that have ties to people in high places that can literally just hit a button and take us off the air.
You're not
So-
even supposed to say the word pizza with. I'm not even going to say the second.
Yeah, don't. No,
I'm not
no,
even
no,
going to say the second word. You're not even supposed to say that. There's actually just some really big videos on YouTube that are they're talking about this right now. Like as soon as you put that in your description, as soon as you put it into your tags or anything, the channel is gone bye bye, see you later. So I don't want to get into that kind of mess.
Okay.
Like I said before, I'm glad we do this on Ghost Mafia's channel.
And that's why I ask before I speak, because, oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about, my high savage with 3037?
Obviously, I don't know. It was just random.
Pizza
we
with
don't
dog
know.
ham. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Let's go back
Well,
to
we
dog
will say
ham. You
that
don't get
there's
shit.
dog ham on the pizza.
outside of
There,
the gate.
there probably was. And it may have been advertised on that little sign outside the window of the restaurant. Cough, cough.
Yep.
Well, guys, we got 8 minutes left, and I want to take a few minutes to give Nalisha and Uber Goober ladies some shout outs there. Let them, well, Uber Goober's already stepped down, but guys, Uber Goober, great channel. She does a lot of, there's some controversial stuff with her channel too. I mean, she does a lot of missing persons cases and things like that, and I actually work with her on those cases sometimes. And she we did a stream the other day where we were doing the hurricane awareness stuff coming up out of the Gulf, and try to help people out and warn them and things like that. So it's a great channel, very informative, very funny lady. She does a lot of skit comedy and stuff with like Cab 7. She is her and Cab 7 today. Oh my God. They were both dressed like nuns. They were bantering back and forth. It was just hilarious. You guys got to go over there and check that out. If you don't know Uber Goober lady, go over to her channel, hit that bar, ding that bell, drop a like on one of her videos, and leave her comment so she can get back to you. And then we have Nalisha. Nalisha is a very intelligent young lady that is old school and from the hills and knows just about as much stuff as I do. And
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I totally respect and look up to
she
you.
knows stuff that I don't know, and I know stuff that she don't know. And when we get together, we could come up with just about anything, I think. And she does a lot of crafting over there on her channel. She's always up on panels and things like that. She gets seen around a lot, and it's a wonderful channel over there. Definitely check out her channel. You got anything coming up, Alicia, in the next few days?
In a little more than a week, I'm going to an open audition, singing audition in downtown Atlanta for The Voice.
Ooh.
And it's on the 27th at 2 p.m. at America's Mart in downtown Atlanta. And after that, I'm going to the Georgia Guidestones, and I'm going to take some awesome videos from there. There are some people in my town that I'm talking to get some real history about some paranormal activity that's kind of famous in this area. I have a lot of exploring to do. I live in the area where the Cherokee Museum is, so I have plenty of things to go and explore and do. I'll have lots of things coming up on my channel that's branched out farther than it used to be.
And
And
I'm hoping that myself and Lou Rock can make it to Brushy, which is only like 2 hours away from you, so we can actually meet up with you in person. And we're still working on getting that organized and getting it around and seeing what we can't do with that. But
please keep me informed. I would be so thrilled to come up and sit and talk with you guys and make some plans. It's not very far from me, and I have some family from Maryville, which is not very far from Knoxville, and that's lived there for kind of 100 years or more. And so there may be some things that I know about that y'all don't know about, so we can collaborate. And
yeah, that
I
would be awesome.
appreciate you having me up here on the panel and giving me the opportunity to succeed and share. And I've just had a good time, and thank you for the friendship and the camaraderie.
And guys, if you don't know Dream Walking Angel, get over to her channel. She also does dream interpretations too. Our channel name is Dream Walking Angel, and get over there, hit that bar, ding that bell, drop a like on one of her videos, and leave her a comment so she can get back to you. Lou, you got anything coming up in the next few days?
I'm working on a video. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought to edit, but I think it's going to be pretty good. That'll be coming out in the next couple days. Yeah, that's pretty much it, except for Mondays. I go live on Mondays. Actually, there's something I wanted to share with everybody. There's a video. We've been looking for proof from you guys of dog ham. We want you guys to send us your proof that dog ham is a legitimate thing. And actually, I want to share this video with you guys. It's actually by a channel called Wonder, Wonder. And the name of the video is "This Man Survived 27 Days Lost in the Amazon Jungle." It's a I Shouldn't Be Alive season 4 episode 7. But the crazy part is, while bringing up this video, what's right below it, an advertisement. That's the Walmart symbol, which is,
What?
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I wish we'd have talked about that tonight. Oh,
Now you know that the Walmart symbol is actually a cube, right?
how is
It
it a
re-
cube? I
It
don't.
represents a 3-dimensional cube. If you
Oh,
if you
CUBE. I heard
yes,
the
okay.
letter Q that we were speaking about
Yeah,
before.
no.
I misunderstood. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, there's a whole theory called cube theory, and it ties into all of the elitist Illuminati stuff. Even
It
goes on.
does.
It even goes further beyond that. It gets
Yeah,
so
we
wild.
could literally talk for 2 hours straight just on Walmart and the association with FEMA and the government and underground highways that link all these Walmarts that go from like Texas clear up
Which
into
I
Maine.
know they exist because
Yes.
that highway you're talking about, I was told about that highway by my biological father, who he is a truck driver who drives truck 24 hours a day because him and his wife are both truck drivers. And when one of them's driving, the other one's resting. And I forgot what they call it, but they take turns.
Team drivers.
And he actually told me about this underground tunnel system that he knows for sure that you can get from Texas to at least Maine. And because he's driven in these underground tunnel systems, which makes a lot of sense, not only in a conspiracy form. If you
Yes.
think, if we're ever put into, like a natural disaster, a
Yes.
state of emergency, and the highways are shut down, we need some way to transport goods other than, by air. So we do have underground tunnels that span pretty much the length of the United States, if not further. And yeah, it all leads back to dog ham, guys.
Yeah.
It does.
Always follow that money. Always follow the money.
So, guys, with that being said, question everything. We don't do this to tell you what we believe. We tell you what we believe because we want you to form decisions on your own. We want you to question what we're talking about. We want you to go out there looking for answers. We want you to come back with new conspiracies and find out what you can. Take pictures, take video. If you have any interesting video on say a Walmart location that's shut down, covered with barbed wire, military vehicles in the parking lot, bring the footage to us. Get footage, bring it to us. We'll air your footage. We want to see dog ham products on shelves. We want to see footage that. We want you to question everything. We want you to formulate opinions and decisions for yourselves. That's why we do this show. That's why we're here, and we're just bringing it to you. Ghost, I have a question. Where are you going next? Country Girl Paranormal. Well, actually, what I'm doing next, Country Girl Hunt Spirits, Rock Fam, I am going to tell Lou Rock that it is now your birthday, and ask him to sing happy birthday to you. How about that?
You do a great job, Lou. Come on.
Is it her birthday?
Yeah, it's her birthday. She just struck midnight. It is Country
Okay.
Girl Paranormal's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear country girl, hunt spirits / rock fam. You rock! Happy
Yeah.
birthday to you.
And many
Woohoo!
more. See, she
Many
didn't know.
more. Happy birthday.
All right, guys. A few shout outs out there. Sharpshooter, the Mod God, dropping all those links for us all night. I seen there was a couple of super chats or something at the beginning. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks you to Uber Goober Lady and Dreamwalking Angel for coming up here and hanging out with us this evening and talking some conspiracies. And happy birthday. Oh, okay. Scaredy Cat says happy birthday. And, Lou Rock, always a pleasure hanging out with you, man, co-hosting and all that stuff. And, we'll definitely be back here next Tuesday, 10 o'clock. We go from 10 to midnight every Tuesday with some conspiracy stuff. We're going to come up with some new stuff next week because we've kind of been covering the same stuff the last 3 weeks, but I did want to go over the 50th anniversary of the whole moon landing and
Next week,
faking
we'll
it.
into incels.
What is it? Stem cells?
No, incels. Involuntary celibates.
Involuntary celibates.
Yes.
You're going to have to educate me on that one because I'm not sure what you're talking about. Bless your heart.
If somebody's celibate, but they're involuntary about it, it's against their will.
It's a whole movement on the internet of people who are not by choice celibate, and it's actually there's actually a one particular person who was on social media who was part of one of these groups who is looked at kind of as like a semi-hero to some of these like twisted parts of the incel groups.
Now, does this have ties to the Church of Scientology in that?
No, incels as a whole, it's its own thing on the internet that a bunch of just I would say lonely people who are looking for friendship, because really that's what I take it as. And I'm not saying that all incels are bad. But the person that I'm talking about did go on a shooting spree, and then that bring a lot of attention to this group of people, which I think they're getting a bad rap because of that person who did this mass shooting. But it is a very interesting topic, especially since I am an incel myself for the last.
Involuntarily celibate. You
Yes.
wouldn't be celibate at all if you had a choice.
Yes, for the last 6 years, I have been an incel myself. So
Yes.
it's a topic that I could definitely relate to.
All right, so that's one of
Bless
the
your
topics next
heart.
week that we'll cover on, and I want to cover a little bit of the Church of Scientology thing too. So there's some stuff there that needs to be hashed out with like the 23andMe, DNA testing and all that stuff. So there's a lot of conspiracies about all that stuff. So sounds like we got a plan for next week, guys. We'll be here next Tuesday night, 10 o'clock. Let's talk conspiracies. Make sure you're here. Share it out. Tweet it out. Put it out. Cardboard sign out next to the road. Paint it on a minivan. Put it on the mailbox.
Marker it on your ass and go moon people.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, guys, until next week, don't eat the dog ham.
Next week, you guys, don't miss it.